He makes $2 million a year, but the state's child support guidelines stop counting income at $300,000. He thinks he only has to pay the cap amount. But I've been fighting to prove that my kids deserve to live the same lifestyle they had when we were married. This is where the battle over extraordinary expenses begins. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into a topic that affects many families, especially those dealing with high-income earners, the child support cap. You might hear this term and think it's a hard limit, an absolute ceiling on what a parent has to pay. But in many cases, that's just not true. It's often just the starting point, especially when one parent earns significantly more than the state guidelines anticipate. Let's break down what's often called the high earner child support deviation. Most states have a formula to calculate child support, but these formulas often have a cap or a point where they stop increasing proportionally with income. For example, the guidelines might only apply up to a combined parental income of, say, $300,000 a year. So what happens when a parent earns $1, $2, or even $10 million? Do they get a free pass on the rest of their income? Not necessarily. This is where the concept of deviating from the guidelines comes in. The court's primary goal is always to ensure the child's needs are met and that they benefit from the financial success of both parents. The core principle is that children should continue to live a lifestyle similar to the one they enjoyed during the marriage. This doesn't mean a child gets a blank check, but it does mean their standard of living shouldn't plummet just because their parents are divorced. So, how do you argue for support above the cap? This is where extraordinary expenses become crucial. We're not talking about just food and basic clothing. We're talking about the expenses that were part of the child's life before the separation. This could include private school tuition, which can easily be tens of thousands of dollars a year. It could be specialized tutors to help them excel in school, or fees for elite sports teams, travel, and equipment. Think about competitive gymnastics, travel hockey, or equestrian activities. These aren't just hobbies. They are often a huge part of the child's development, social life, and future opportunities. Other examples include things like summer camps, music lessons, art classes, and even international travel that the family regularly took. If these were normal parts of your child's life, they can be considered when calculating support above the standard guideline amount. The key is to document everything. You need to show that these expenses are consistent with the family's lifestyle before the divorce. To get the court to award support above the cap, many jurisdictions use what's sometimes called a three-prong test, though the specifics can vary. First, the court calculates the basic support amount using the standard guidelines up to the income cap. This is your baseline. Second, the court considers any additional amount of support that might be necessary based on the remaining income of the high-earning parent and the actual proven needs of the child. This is where you present your evidence for those extraordinary expenses, the private school, the sports, the tutoring. You have to demonstrate that these are reasonable and in the child's best interest. The third prong is the most important. The court must state its reasons for deviating from the guidelines. The judge can't just pick a number out of thin air. They have to articulate why the guideline amount is insufficient and unjust in the specific case, and how the higher award serves the child's best interests. This is why having a clear, well-documented argument is so critical. So why isn't the cap always the limit? Because the law recognizes that a one-size-fits-all formula doesn't work for every family. The purpose of child support isn't just to cover bare necessities. It's to ensure a child shares in the prosperity of their parents. When a parent has the means to provide a certain lifestyle, the court can and often will order them to continue providing it for their children post-divorce. Fighting this battle requires meticulous preparation. You need to gather receipts, bank statements, school enrollment forms, and testimony that establishes the family's pre-divorce standard of living. Proving that these extra expenses were a normal part of your child's life is your most powerful tool. The rich dad's loophole isn't really a loophole if you know how to challenge it. The cap is a guideline, not an impenetrable wall. With the right strategy, you can ensure your children receive the support they truly need and deserve, allowing them to thrive, not just survive. Thanks for watching today. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more insights into navigating the complexities of family law. We'll see you in the next video.